So him being arrested isn't really like the shocker. It's him coming out and his, I guess, reaction to it, right? Because everybody's saying, King, you grew up privileged, bro. Why are you going down this path? Now he's talking about F the police, F12. So, he just don't care.
We are standing in a hospital that feels less like a sanctuary and more like a crime scene. It's 3:00 a.m. at Grady Memorial in Atlanta, and King Harris, the so-called prince of the Harris dynasty, is tangled in wires and tubes, locked in a war with the unknown. Every inch of him is monitored, every beat of his heart debated in group chats across the globe. Family members huddle behind glass, faces ashen, while nurses trade whispered updates that sound more like coded warnings than medicine. Tiny's grief has collapsed her into the arms of strangers, her cries echoing down sterile hallways and out into the world, where millions of us stare at our screens, breathless. We watch in horror as hashtags like "Pray for King" and "Justice for King Harris" vault to the top of every trending feed. Because this is not just the story of a famous family's sorrow, this is the story of a mystery that has swallowed Atlanta whole.
Because due to my past events, they kind of say like, hey bro, you do this, we can't, so I've been chilling.
Mm-hmm. I feel like people that stand with you, you're really a good person. You help out a lot of people.
Yeah.
You're innocent. Like you live life.
Yeah.
And already the truth is muddy. The official word from the hospital is bland. King Harris is critical but stable. But nothing about the leaks matches stable. Not the report that King's injuries look staged, not the rumor that a guard admitted the order came from above, we just cleared the way. The word on the street is that this was no random jail brawl, but something executed with surgical cruelty, with bruises that line up like tally marks. Each one another theory about who really wants the Harris name erased. Even as cameras catch tiny sobs, the world asks, how does a boy with the world at his feet wind up inches from the edge, his life hanging on a machine's mercy? And why do so many powerful voices seem determined to keep us from knowing? If this were just another celebrity meltdown, it would have faded by sunrise. But this isn't just anyone. This is the heir to a hip-hop empire. The Harris name is supposed to be untouchable, bulletproof. T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, spent years building a dynasty under the blinding lights of the music industry, his marriage to Tiny a reality show empire, their children household names before they could spell their own. Yet as we peer through the glass at King's limp form, the dynasty looks more haunted than ever. The silence from the family isn't just grief, it's fear, it's suspicion, it's the uneasy sense that there are bigger forces moving behind these hospital walls.
Me and my dad, man, we had a relationship, it was to the point to where he know me, I know you, but it was almost like Ghost and Tariq in Power, bro.
By the time the first conspiracy goes viral, it's already too late to stop it. There are whispers of masked men slipping into the ICU, of machines mysteriously shutting down, of nurses risking their jobs to leak word of a sabotaged recovery. There's talk that King's bloodstream carried substances not in any doctor's plan, fuel for the wildfire belief that someone wants him silenced for good. And when a quote surfaces from a prison staffer, the order came from above. We just cleared the way. Even the most skeptical start to wonder, who would risk this much to destroy a 20-year-old whose biggest crime was being born to power? Every hour brings another video, another grainy audio clip, another claim that this is bigger than the Harris family, bigger than Atlanta, maybe even bigger than hip-hop. But to understand how we got here, we have to rewind the tape. Because just a few weeks before King Harris was flatlining in the ICU, he was at the center of another spectacle, one filled with blue and gold balloons, Simba cakes, and Tiny's Instagram joy. "My baby King is having a baby," she wrote, her excitement for her first grandson shining so bright it practically burned through our screens. The room glowed, draped in luxury, filled with friends and family, a scene straight out of a reality show. King posed with Janai, his hand on her hip, his future supposedly certain. That night, the dynasty looked unbreakable. We saw a family celebrating a new generation, Tiny beaming, King's sister clapping back at online critics, and not a cloud in sight.
Was there ever a moment on camera that you felt like you had to portray somebody or someone you weren't? Or did you stay 100?
Nah, for the most part, man, I stayed 100, man.
Yet even as Tiny gushed, the undertow was pulling King somewhere darker. Weeks after the baby shower, King's life veered into chaos. News broke that he'd been arrested in Dunwoody, a warrant hanging over him from a year-old driving charge, the details ugly. Nearly hitting a patrol car, the unmistakable scent of trouble drifting from his BMW, and a weapon found on his hip. The police report, doesn't just read like the mistakes of a teenager. It reads like a slow-motion collapse. The world saw a privileged son running toward disaster, a young man determined to prove he wasn't soft just because he grew up behind a gate. That same night, as King's mugshot flashed across the internet, the comment sections exploded. He grew up rich. What is he doing? He's got a baby coming. Is this really who he is now? The narrative twisted, the whispers multiplying. Was King running from the shadow of his famous father, or just running headlong into a future that terrified him? Some said it was typical growing pains, but others pointed at the growing mountain of legal drama and family turmoil, insisting this wasn't just one bad night, it was a pattern.
T.I.'s son, King Harris, has been arrested after not appearing in court and some other things connected to his action.
And just as the world was adjusting to this new, troubled version of King, the storm behind him began to break. The allegations that have stalked the Harris family for years, those shadowy, hotly denied claims of forced intimacy, party invitations that ended in regret, and what one critic called a web of trouble and temptation, all resurfaced, louder and more pointed than ever. Sabrina Peterson's Instagram became a digital courtroom. She promised receipts, screenshots, and stories that would allegedly blow the lid off not just T.I. and Tiny's past, but King's future as well. She didn't stop at the parents. She named King directly, posting messages from a family in panic, claiming their daughter was trapped in a web led by the Harris family. Let's be clear, nothing about these allegations has been proven. The family denies everything, repeatedly and with venom. Legal teams swing into action, but the power of accusation is enough. Each new post, each new leak, shoves King further into the crosshairs, not as an artist or a young father, but as a walking scandal. When his name comes up, it's never about his music or his new baby. It's about mugshots, arrests, and the shadows his parents can't seem to shake. Every day, the stakes get higher. The crowd outside the hospital doesn't just pray for King's health. They argue about whether his collapse is just bad luck or the final chapter in a saga of payback and secrets that's been building for years.
Any actor would tell you when the camera's on, you get into character. You get into, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about reality, it's all real, it's all natural, but some things are, you know what I'm saying? Some things are needed for the climax and the rising of the episodes and stuff like that. So sometimes
we watch the clock rewind in our minds. The baby shower, the arrest, the infamous headlock at the Falcons game, when T.I. and King's heated argument over silver spoon privilege turned physical, streamed for the world to see. One moment, it's just a family bickering. The next, it's a father in a headlock, a mother revealing on camera that her son sucked a pacifier until he was 12. The entire exchange spiraling into a viral meltdown that left the family's image bruised and the world's perception permanently altered. So now, as we watch King Harris fight for breath in a hospital that's become a fortress, we can't help but ask, how does someone go from celebrating new life to staring down the end in just a few weeks? The answers are tangled in a mess of privilege, pressure, and secrets that refuse to stay buried. Was King just reckless, or was he targeted? Did he spiral out of control, or was he pushed? Was this fate, karma, or a setup as old as the entertainment industry itself?
they're saying, no, you're not this, you're not this. And then I'm going to him saying, bro, why you doing that? Why you even doing that? He like, bro, the point is to make them think that you're not this. That's the whole goal. And so
Insiders close to the Harris camp aren't mincing words. They say the incident that landed King in the ICU didn't come out of nowhere. The fights, the arrests, the online beefs, all signs that something was boiling under the surface. Some claim that King, eager to step out of his father's shadow, made enemies with people who play by their own rules. Others insist it's simpler. You can't build a throne on secrets and expect the past to stay silent. Either way, what happened to King Harris isn't being chalked up to bad luck anymore. There's a creeping sense that this is what it looks like when a dynasty turns on itself, or when someone decides the Harris name has flown too close to the sun. And just as the outrage reaches fever pitch, the leaks keep coming. Another nurse says she saw the hospital security tapes disappear after masked figures were spotted near King's bed. A supposed insider claims the substance found in King's blood didn't belong, that the hospital has never seen a case quite like this. Meanwhile, the Harris family, so used to living on camera, now guards every word, every movement, as if someone is waiting to twist even their grief into a weapon. The world waits, desperate for answers, but the only certainty is this. King Harris is trapped in a storm no one saw coming, and every new revelation pushes the boundaries of what anyone thought possible.
it's just sometimes the things we was doing was forced, not necessarily fake. So it wasn't really like, it was just the perception they had on me is I was just bad, cool, funny. I'm him. That's who I am.
I know that's right.
That's who I am. So it's just certain things that they kind of perceive and get wrong.
We stand in the shadow of the ICU, listening to the whispers grow louder, feeling the city pulse with anger and fear. We don't know who to trust or how deep the plot runs, but one question keeps echoing in every headline, every post, every sleepless night in Atlanta. How did the prince of the Harris family wind up here, teetering on the edge of oblivion? And is this truly the end of his story, or just the beginning of something even darker? It's impossible to look at King Harris's crisis in the ICU without feeling the chill of deja vu, because this isn't just the collapse of one young man. It's the echo of a family whose rise to fame has always been stalked by scandal. We remember when the world tuned in every week for T.I. and Tiny the Family Hustle, a series that turned the Harrises into America's answer to royalty. But all that changed in 2021 when VH1 slammed the brakes, yanking the show off the air just 3 weeks after a renewal. That move followed the now infamous accusations from Sabrina Peterson, who claimed T.I. once threatened her with a gun, unleashing a deluge of allegations over a dozen women, claims of forced intimacy, manipulation, and wild parties that made the Harris mansion sound more like a casting call for disaster than a family home. The legal fallout became its own headline. Prosecutors investigating but never charging, lawsuits filed and dismissed, the couple's team locked in a war of words with accusers and former friends. Each time the family tried to clean up, another skeleton tumbled out.
Yes, that's right. Lawyer Tyrone Blackburn is going to authorities, asking and encouraging state and federal prosecutors to start a criminal investigation into T.I. and Tamika Harris, aka Tiny, on behalf of 11 accusers.
And that's the true curse of the Harris dynasty. Every time the dust settles, another earthquake hits. No matter how many times T.I. and Tiny deny, how many statements they post, or court battles they survive, the shadow sticks. We've seen it before, the moment things look calm. A new album, a family vacation, the birth of a grandchild. Something snaps, and another headline explodes. The ICU scene with King is the latest chapter in a cycle that's almost mythic, like the universe refuses to let this family rest. Zoom in on today, and the old wounds are bleeding straight into new ones. Even as King lies in a hospital bed fighting for every breath, the drama outside those walls only gets louder. We see Tiny, already battered by grief, dragged into yet another internet storm, this time after a TikTok influencer drops the rumor bomb that King isn't even the father of his own newborn. Instantly, the family's timeline lights up. Tiny fires back, snapping online. How in the hell would this person know anything about what we did or did not do? There's no mistaking the rage of a mother fighting for her son's reputation, not just in the blogs, but on the street, while she's got one eye glued to the ICU monitor. For her, it's not just about haters online, it's about the whole world circling, waiting for a crack.
And I thought he looked gorgeous. He was like, so that was kind of like, we exchanged numbers, and we ended up meeting that same day. We went to a $3 cafe, we talked, and we kind of got to know each other a little bit over some wings. And from there, we kind of like just played phone tag for a minute and finally hooked.
Meanwhile, T.I.'s response to the trafficking chatter is pure defiance. Sabrina Peterson's latest claims? Waving receipts and promising to drop them on her birthday, fanning the old fire with new oxygen, draw a rare, almost zen retort from the rapper. It's a beautiful day to not be a buster, to not spread lies, and to not be negative. It's a beautiful day, man, to mind your business. His words, posted for millions, are less a defense than a dare. He's daring the internet to find something new to chew on, even as the wolves are at the door. We watch this family forced to fight a two-front war, public perception on one side, private panic on the other. The ICU beeping away as a kind of clock counting down how much more they can take. What we can't ignore is how neatly this whole sequence fits a pattern. King's ICU spiral comes not just after his own legal troubles, but on the heels of the Harris family's biggest reputational firestorm in years. Whispers run wild in Atlanta and LA. Is it just a coincidence that every time the allegations resurface, trafficking, coercion, manipulation, someone in the family pays the price in real life? There are fans who insist this is all the universe balancing the scales, that karma finally caught up to a clan that's dodged too many close calls. But then you hear the industry insiders, the ones who've seen careers vanish overnight, who tell us the Harrises have enemies. Big ones, with reach far beyond social media. Some say the timing of King's hospitalization is just too perfect to be natural, that someone is sending a message, keep quiet, or next time it'll be worse. Others go even further, stoking the flames of conspiracy with every new leak. We've heard the unconfirmed reports. A family assistant supposedly saw text messages warning King not to speak to certain outsiders. An anonymous producer talking off the record says, He's never seen a campaign like this hinting that King's ICU crisis is just the most public symptom of a family being targeted at the highest level. Meanwhile, social media churns up its own theories. Was this payback for what went down at the Falcons game? Did a rival faction inside the industry see King as a weak link? Or are we all just watching the natural fallout of years spent living too close to the sun, with every mistake broadcast in 4K?
Trying to coddle him for. Let the man walk off, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he need to do.
Every hour King spends on life support adds fuel to the fire. We watch as his family, so used to fighting off gossip, can only wait and pray, unable to spin this crisis away. The protests outside Grady Memorial get bigger, angrier, louder. Justice for King and protect the Harris family blare across banners and billboards. Yet for every supporter, there's a cynic. Someone convinced this is just another twist in a story that's always had more drama than sense. All the while, the dynasty's reputation unravels in real time. Old family friends have begun to distance themselves, former collaborators posting vague, cryptic messages about loyalty and truth. Some fans think it's all smoke and mirrors, that the family will bounce back just like always, but others aren't so sure. They say the difference this time is that the Harrises look truly rattled, tiny, desperate, exhausted. This isn't just about a reputation anymore, it's about survival. Now we're left with the question that makes this story truly chilling. Is King Harris simply the latest young star brought down by reckless choices, by a legacy too heavy to carry? Or are we watching something far darker? A dynasty punished not for what it's done, but for what it knows. For secrets it was never meant to keep. The family's silence has only sharpened the rumors, and every unexplained injury, every missing hospital file, every leaked phone call makes us wonder if King was ever safe at all.
Been able to do that if it wasn't for family hustle.
Right.
That does come with some, it's some adversity. There's some adversity to come with that. People get in your bed.
So here's where we leave it. King Harris, once just a 20-year-old stepping into the world as a new father, now caught in the grip of something bigger than any one person. Is this the tragic price of fame and old grudges, or the final chapter in a legacy haunted by secrets that refuse to stay buried? We want to know what you think. Is this pure coincidence, or is there a plot to silence the Harris name once and for all? Drop your wildest theories, your hottest takes, and your prayers in the comments, because if this saga has taught us anything, it's that the truth is never as simple as it seems. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay skeptical, and keep your eyes open, because in the world of celebrity dynasties, the next twist is always just a headline away.